beautiful people. Oh, okay, I'm making sure my tip isn't hanging out. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things women's health, herbs, and spirituality. And today I wanted to hop on and talk to you all about pregnancy and what goes on during pregnancy. Now, I actually wrote about this a while ago in a blog post, but I decided to do a video to really explain how to really foster your intuition during this amazing time, this transformation period of growing a human inside of you. So a lot goes on during that period as you're growing a human being in your belly. It's still crazy to say that out loud, that we can actually do that. But yeah, so not only are you growing and feeding your baby, not only are you fostering your child that is growing, there are also other things that are growing that you have to consider. So of course your body is expanding with your baby that's growing. Yes. So not only are you growing physically, which requires a lot of nutrients and specific nutrients, your brain is also expanding in its capacity. Hence mom brain or baby brain, and that's actually quite legitimate. That's because your brain is really just reconfiguring itself, which it does throughout your entire life, but especially during pregnancy and then postpartum, your brain goes through that a lot. There's a lot of that and the hormonal influence. So yeah, your brain's going through a lot. It's not just you. You're not going crazy. It's an actual reconfiguration, so you're okay. And then lastly, which is what we're going to be talking about today, is your instinct, your motherly instinct that really kicks in while you're pregnant. Now, of course, every woman is born with this instinct. And when you're pregnant, it's really heightened. I want to share with you guys a story, actually, which inspired this video, although I had the blog post already. So during my second pregnancy, I had a lot of visions and insight with our firstborn, but with my secondborn, it was a little bit elevated. I had one dream in particular where I actually saw her, if that makes sense, like while she was in the womb. It's quite crazy. And this goes back, I'm sure this transpires over all indigenous cultures, but I know back home, throughout, actually in various African countries, they do this practice where they will utilize the pregnant woman. The pregnant woman in an African culture, generally, she's an oracle because her body's, and they know that this woman is she is carrying a soul that is at its most fragile state. And not fragile, but it's in between two worlds in a sense. And because of that, then access to the other side is much more accessible versus when you're just here. So yeah, the pregnant woman essentially is an oracle according, in the African context. So knowing that, there are ways that you can foster your own intuition and making sure it's strong. So firstly, before I talk about any tactics, I really want to hone in on rest and getting an adequate amount of rest. Now, why is this? Now, the brain, there are actually about 86 billion neurons in the brain. 86 billion. They once thought there was hundreds, but it was off by just a little bit. Even still, 86, 100, I don't care, a billion, 86 billion neurons in the brain. These synapses going on. Actually, I lied, not in the brain, throughout the whole body, which is almost as much as many as there are many stars in the Milky Way, in our galaxy. It's wild. When they say we are a literal expression of the universe, we're like 114 billion stars off. Regardless. Anyways, now when you think about intuition, tuition, it's like it's your inner education, your inner knowing, that is strengthened because we're made up of electricity. Essentially, when you're in tune right? Your frequency is aligned with divine. So making sure that connection is strong and in tune, that's one way to solidify your intuition. And by doing that, making sure you get enough rest, because the nervous system is very complex, just like any system in the body, but the nervous system in particular, it does so much, and there's still so much that we're yet to explore, because it's connection with the brain, the consciousness, and everything else that is attributed to the nervous system. So the nervous system sits on this spectrum. Maria Grovel's explained it impeccably in her book. I forget what it's called. Balanced, Body to Balance. I'll link it in the description. So there's this spectrum essentially within the nervous system, from like hardwired and just antsy, to the middle where it's balanced, and on the other side where it's just fatigue. Well, not fatigue, just droopy. Droopy. So there's a spectrum, right? And now what rest will do, it'll take wherever you are in that spectrum and pull you to the middle. So you're not so ecstatic, you're not too droopy, you're right in the middle. And rest really does a lot for the body. And they talk about this whenever you're learning about Reiki. In Reiki school, they talk about this a lot. It's the same way that energy healing works. By putting the body in a rest state, the body can heal and do its own thing very naturally. So by making sure you get adequate sleep as well, that'll help. Getting adequate sleep to encourage restfulness, meditation, just doing things that you just genuinely enjoy. Rest is really important. I would say that is top tier, essentially. Forget about, well, not entirely forget about, but before you tackle food to help with your intuition, herbs, plants, any tool or practice, start with rest, and then everything else will really just fall into place. Now, in regards to tools, there are different ways that you can strengthen your intuition. I'll probably do a video just specifically on that. If you want me to, let me know in the comment section below. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Now, tools. So this will vary. Like I mentioned earlier, choose something that you generally enjoy. I know a lot of people talk about meditation, and not a lot of people are too keen about the traditional form of meditation, essentially, right? Now, but there are other ways that you can indeed meditate. So take a hobby that you really like, say painting. And while you're painting, be very intentional and present in that moment. That's essentially what meditation is. It's just being very intentional in your present state. So yeah, doing that on a daily basis, I would say not even just like moment, I would say practice it moment to moment. And soon enough, you'll find to where your whole entire day is a meditation. It's amazing. So yeah, so find a practice that works for you. Now, meditation is a great start. And journaling, I talk about dream journaling a lot. And I've been dream journaling for years now. And that's just a way for you to track. So if there are any certain messages that you are receiving, certain feelings that you are getting intuitively, you can write them down and jot them, take note of them. That way it acts as a reference point for you, so that way you can take that and grow from it. So that is all I wanted to share with you guys today. Those two main tips to help to really foster your inner intuition during pregnancy. Now let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you guys what you do or any experiences that you have had during your pregnancy, and let me know. And I'll also link my blog post at the bottom. It was about it was really just a speculatory post about whether or not being or having psychic tendencies is genetic. Do I need to say any more? It definitely is. It definitely is. Anyways, all right. Thank you so much for watching, and I will check you guys in the next video. Bye for now.